This year we're proud to be here at Sebring International Raceway as a part of the 48 Hours of Sebring presented by Porsche Club of America. It's one of the largest gatherings of Porsches in the entire world, and we're here to support all of our customers running JRZ suspensions, meet a lot of new people, and test some of our newest products. Around the track, we'll be looking at the cars working through places like Turn 1, Turn 17, through the quick complex, making sure that not only is the car absorbing the bumps, but it's giving the drivers the right balance, the right feel. Sebring's a great place to come and do this. The track has a lot of character. Over the years, it's proven to be a very challenging place to do setup and very rewarding when you get it right. It's a great place to prove what you can do when you build a balanced damper and provide the right support through all of the engineering, understanding what drivers and teams need to be successful on track. Customer support is critical to JRZ Suspension Engineering. Making a great damper is only half the battle. Making sure the team has what they need, whether it be spare parts, advice, engineering assistance, or co-development, we make sure that we give every team what they need to be successful.
Love to talk about JRZ, especially here, because I think one of my very first experiences ever working with them was with, I was struggling with my car at the 12 Hours of Sebring, like back in the mid to late 90s. And this kind of cool old dude, they said he was really good with shocks. You got to talk to him. His name was, I think that was Jan, right? It was, he was obviously had been with Coney for a long time, and he had this shock company he started, a damper company, and he was helping me out with my car down here. We were trying to make the race, and we did pretty good. And over the years, Jan and I became friends, and we started carrying the brand, and did really well with it for a long, long time. Especially on my early air-cooled cars, when a bumpy track like this at Sebring, the shock absorbers can make such a big difference. And then as our company grew, and you know, Eric and Brian and the rest of the guys came on board, you know, we've been JRZ users, fans, advocates, and promoters, and race teams. We've won everything with these guys on the car, won all the big races, including Daytona several times, and love working with them. So, you know, I think one of the big things nowadays, you see the differentiator. A lot of the products at the upper end are all pretty good. I think a lot of it becomes how the guys are willing to service the product, and I think you know, these guys offer a real good program on the service side of things, and so we're proud to be partners with them, and hopefully long into the future.
Support, a key element to racing. How do you get better support than with JRZ? JRZ really did make its name in racing with support. You will always see them at the track. You'll see people like me that are diehard JRZ suspension, really specialists, people that have grown up on JRZ. You will always find advice when you're at the track. Any of the racers that are here at the 48 Hour of Sebring will be a testament that they always see me at the track, they always see me in the pits. I'm free to tell them when they got to back out a rebound or put some compression or change some valving. As well, you will see the head of JRZ coming to the track. You will not see that with other companies. You're not going to see the president of one of the other leading manufacturers of dampers coming out to the racetrack to make sure that his product is supported. That's what's great about having a product like JRZ, is the support. Support is second to none.
The customer support has been great. Brian has always been fantastic to work with and available at the oddest hours. If I'm at a track and he's at home, he'll take your call and help me with some setup issues, or if I have a problem with a broken shock, he'll overnight something for AM delivery and keep my customers running.
So yeah, I've been racing for many years. I started in sports car racing in 2000. I've been racing with JRZ since 2002. We raced with the Lexus, Team Lexus. We had the championship that year. That was my first experience with JRZ. It went really well. Then the year after, we went with Porsches with another team from Canada. I started using the JRZ shocks again because my team manager really liked them and the experience we had prior with them. And they work really good. We always had good support, even if we were racing against a team that was a factory here in the US with TPC. That was good. Everybody from JRZ always helped us out really well, and then we had a great season that year. Also won a championship, 6 races. So my relation with them started really good, And over the years, we have back and forth with different kind of shocks, but I always came back to JRZ with many teams that I went and raced with. We, in 04, won the 24 hours of Daytona with those shocks with Fiorano Racing. In 2007, with Allegro Motorsport, put a brand new effort together, and it was a 997. We didn't have much experience, and obviously the name that came back was JRZ, and then we started working with Eric, and always had good help and put us in a good direction, and we ended up winning that 24-hour Daytona race again. Then during the season, we stayed work with those shocks. It went really well. Been on and off racing, but the club racing we're doing right now a lot in Canada, a lot of our members or customers are using that shock. The 3-ways or the 4-ways, they're easy to work, especially we go to 3-ways for club guys, and they work pretty well. Everybody enjoy, they get a good performance, especially a good durability also. So that's been working really well for us up north, I would think, in the club racing we're working with.
Winning. Winning always starts with the relationships. One relationship that I formed early on in my non-pro years as an amateur racer was with JRZ Engineering. It was the best choice that I had made. I started out in the ranks of PCA club racing, similar to what's going on out here today. And I raced for many years, starting in '95 and continuing on to this day. I'm here this weekend at Sebring. But I've been really great in building a relationship with JRZ. I'm also building a relationship with the engineers at JRZ. That has meant success. Success, winning races, is about the successes you bring along the way. It's about the partnerships you create. I have been racing since '95. I probably started with JRZ about approximately '96 or '95. By '98, I was out of club racing as a primary and racing Motorola Cup. I started with a 993. My first sponsor in my 993 was Jan from JRZ. It was the best relationship that I had formed. I went on to starting at the back of the field at Daytona at the start of that year and moved right up to the 4th place. Within 2 races, I was already on the podium at Mid-Ohio, and by the 4th race at Phoenix International, I moved up from the back of the field and was up and running in 4th place and got a nod from Randy Popst. And Randy wanted to come along and join the team and improve the victories, which we did. After meeting with Randy, we started racing the 2000 and 2001 Cup cars, which were always JRZ cars. We dominated the field. We started off a little soft in 2001. We got some good victories going by 2002. And by 2003, if you weren't on JRZ and Grand Am, you weren't winning races. And we dominated the field in 04 and 05. I don't believe any other team even had a win in 04 except for TPC. That gives you an idea of the focus of the type of domination that we had. And I just can't say enough. It takes a lot of partnership, but it really does take the proper damper, the proper engineers, the proper people to be on your crew. But it's been a pleasure to be a part of that JRZ experience in the United States.
I first got onto JRZ shocks with Mike Levitus's TPC Racing, and it was almost 10 years ago. And that relationship was a winner right from the beginning. We put those cars on top. I was in Phoenix and I was down on pit lane just hanging out looking for a ride, and I saw these cars. We made those cars work right away. Mike Levitus and I and JRZ have always been a really good team, and we made some great handling cars, and there were years where we were just absolutely dominant, like in 2004 in the Porsche Cup car. There's been a lot of wins. It's been a great relationship.
I've been working with JRZ shocks on and off since I believe it was 2005 when I first started racing in Grand Am Cup. This past season though was definitely the highlight of my years working with JRZ because we had them exclusively on our K-Pax Racing Volvo C30s. And this was a season of tremendous development. For those of you that don't know the full story, the program started quite late in the day, so we really didn't have a lot of real test and tune time before the season started. So every single session of every single race, we were always putting new ideas and setups on the car. And I believe, one of the keys to our success this year was the range and the versatility that the JRZ shocks provided us. And I'll never forget, it was the very first test of that car, its maiden run out at High Plains Raceway with the K-Pax crew. It's Denver, Colorado. And we had done a shakedown lap or two, came to the pits, got a read on the car. Dax, my engineer, and Will Moody, they reached in, they made a shock change. They literally, it was one sweep. It was like one click of extra. I think it was front bump they added, low speed. Leaving pit lane, I could feel it. And as soon as I cracked the wheel rolling into the first turn, I could feel it. And I thought, oh, this is good. This is good. This means I got a good car underneath me, a good cage, and this means I got shock absorbers that work. And like I said, we went through so many different changes on a given race weekend. Spring changes, bar changes, ride height changes. The range that our JRZs provided us meant that we didn't have to go run to a shock dyno every 2 days and get them revalved or reshimmed or restacked or anything. We ran very much the same shock from the start of the year to the end of the year, and that was a really big advantage when you're doing that much testing and tuning on the fly.
So I'm a JRZ user. I started using JRZ dampers last year. We found that by using JRZs, there was a lot more adjustability in the car. I race in 2 different race series, the IMSA Cup in Canada, as well as some select events down in the United States, and you come across several different tracks and different variety of terrain. So as a result, with the JRZs, we've got adjustability. ICAR in Canada is an old airport runway. It's very, very bumpy. It's actually, believe it or not, bumpier than this track down here. And this track down here is renowned for one of the bumpiest at all. So Sebring is a fantastic racetrack, but there was a lot of bumps, and having the JRZs, we have the ability to adjust the car for maximum performance.
The primary thing I like about driving on JRZ shocks is their combination of compliance and control. Not too stiff, not too soft, including a wide range of adjustability to make that just right for each driver or for each track. We're sitting at Sebring Raceway today, and Sebring is one of the greatest challenges to a shock absorber, especially the old B17 runways, turn 17, turn 1. And the JRZs they're really highlighted here because it's a tough job to absorb these huge bumps, but still keep the tire on the pavement and keep the driver in control.
At the core of a JRZ Suspension Engineering damper is the gas pressure charge and the compression damping. Our damping philosophy, we focus on settling the unsprung mass and keeping the tire in contact with the road in smooth operation. That results in good chassis control, and we supplement that with the right amount of rebound such that the car is easy to drive, smooth, very nice to the tire, and very supportive and predictable for the driver.